If you can't control your emotions, people will control you. But what if the people influencing your decisions, emotions, and behaviors are not strangers, manipulators, or powerful authority figures? What if they are the people you interact with every single day? Friends, coworkers, family members, romantic partners, and even people you barely notice. The uncomfortable truth is that most psychological influence does not happen through obvious manipulation. It happens through subtle behaviors, emotional triggers, social pressure, and unconscious patterns that quietly shape the way we think and act. And the most dangerous part is that most people never realize it is happening. Welcome to a space dedicated to understanding the human mind and modern emotions, helping people better understand anxiety, relationships, personality, behavior patterns, and the hidden psychological forces that influence everyday life. Here, we explore the science of human behavior, emotional intelligence, social dynamics, self-development, and the psychological mechanisms that affect our decisions, habits, and relationships. In today's video, we will uncover the dark psychology behind everyday interactions. You will discover how people can influence perceptions without saying much, why certain conversations leave you feeling emotionally drained, how social dynamics quietly shape your choices, and the hidden psychological patterns that often determine who gains influence and who loses it. More importantly, you will learn how to recognize these behaviors before they begin affecting your confidence, relationships, and emotional well-being. If you stay until the end, you'll understand the psychological patterns behind your reactions, why you repeat certain behaviors, and how your mind actually builds emotional habits in daily life. Because the real issue is not what you feel, it's what your mind does with what you feel. And most people never notice this process happening. What you are about to learn may completely change the way you see conversations, relationships, influence, and human behavior. After this video, many interactions that once seemed normal may suddenly reveal a deeper psychological meaning that was always there, hidden in plain sight. Have you ever ended a completely normal day feeling exhausted? Even though nothing particularly bad happened? No major argument, no terrible news, no crisis, yet somehow your mind feels heavy, your patience feels shorter, and even simple conversations seem harder than they should. If that sounds familiar, stay until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover may explain a pattern you've been experiencing for years without realizing it. The truth is that emotional exhaustion rarely comes from one big event. Most of the time, it comes from dozens of tiny interactions that slowly drain your mental energy throughout the day. A text message that gets ignored, a conversation where you feel unheard, comparing your life to someone else's online, pretending you're okay when you're not. Your brain keeps collecting these moments, even when you consciously dismiss them. And the strange part is that many people believe they're stressed because of work, money, or responsibilities, when in reality they're carrying an invisible emotional load created by everyday interactions. The human mind is constantly scanning social situations, looking for acceptance, respect, belonging, and emotional safety. When those needs aren't fully met, your brain doesn't simply move on. It keeps processing, analyzing, and replaying experiences in the background. That's why you can feel mentally tired without knowing exactly why. And once you understand how these hidden psychological forces operate, you'll start noticing something surprising about the people around you and about yourself. What most people don't realize is that the mind is not only reacting to what happens around you, it's constantly trying to predict what might happen next. And this is where one of the most invisible psychological patterns begins. Every time you walk away from a conversation wondering what someone really meant, every time you notice a change in someone's tone, or every time you feel uncertain about how you're being perceived, your brain starts filling in the blanks. The problem is that it rarely fills them with certainty. It fills them with possibilities. And because the human mind is naturally drawn to unresolved situations, those possibilities can stay active for hours, days, or even weeks. A friend takes longer than usual to reply. A coworker seems distant. Someone who normally engages with you suddenly becomes quiet. Nothing dramatic happened, yet your brain immediately starts searching for explanations. Not because you're weak or overly emotional, but because uncertainty creates tension inside the mind. It wants answers. The hidden mechanism is that your brain treats social uncertainty almost like a problem that must be solved. It keeps replaying interactions, reviewing facial expressions, analyzing words, and searching for clues that may not even exist. Over time, this process becomes automatic. You stop responding to reality and start responding to your interpretation of reality. And those interpretations quietly influence your confidence, your mood, and even the way you behave around other people. You may become more reserved, more defensive, more eager to please, or more emotionally distant without realizing what caused the shift. What's fascinating is that the people affecting your emotions often have no idea this process is happening inside your mind. Yet these invisible psychological loops are shaping everyday interactions far more than most people ever notice. And there is one particular reason why some interactions seem to stay in your head much longer than others. And this is where the real impact begins to show. The strange thing about these invisible mental patterns is that they rarely stay inside your head. Sooner or later, they start changing the way you behave around other people. At first, the changes are almost impossible to notice. You speak a little less in group conversations. You hesitate before sharing an opinion. You become more careful about what you say, worried about how it might be received. None of this feels dramatic in the moment. Simply feels like you're adapting. But over time, these small adjustments start creating a completely different social presence. People often assume confidence is something visible, but what they don't realize is that confidence is constantly being communicated through tiny emotional signals. The way you enter a room, respond to disagreement, maintain eye contact, or express your thoughts sends information to others before you even realize it. When your mind becomes trapped in uncertainty and overanalysis, those signals begin to change. You become more focused on avoiding mistakes than expressing yourself naturally. And others unconsciously respond to that shift. Not because they are judging you, but because human beings are constantly reading emotional cues from one another. This creates a powerful psychological cycle. The more uncertain you feel, the more your behavior changes. The more your behavior changes, the more people respond differently. Then your brain uses those reactions as proof that something is wrong, reinforcing the very pattern that started the problem. Before long, you may feel overlooked, misunderstood, or disconnected without fully understanding how the process began. What makes this even more fascinating is that some of the strongest social influences don't come from what people say or do. They come from something much deeper that most individuals never learn to recognize. Your brain doesn't react to the present only. In many situations, it reacts to emotional memories that were formed long before the current moment ever happened. This is one of the most overlooked aspects of human behavior. When someone ignores your message, criticizes your opinion, excludes you from a conversation, or suddenly changes the way they treat you, your reaction is often bigger than the event itself. That's because your mind is not comparing the situation only to today. It's comparing it to years of emotional experiences stored beneath conscious awareness. Every disappointment, rejection, embarrassment, betrayal, or moment of feeling unimportant leaves a trace. Most people believe those moments disappear with time, but the emotional brain works differently. It remembers patterns far more than details. This is why two people can experience the exact same situation and react in completely different ways. One shrugs it off and moves on. The other thinks about it for days. The difference is not intelligence, strength, or personality. It's the emotional history attached to the event. Your mind is constantly asking a silent question. Have I felt something like this before? If the answer is yes, old emotional associations can activate instantly. Suddenly, a small social interaction feels much bigger than it really is. Not because you're overreacting, but because your brain is connecting the present to unresolved emotional experiences from the past. Over time, these repeated emotional patterns create invisible scripts that influence how you see yourself and others. You begin expecting certain outcomes before they happen. You anticipate rejection, disappointment, criticism, or abandonment without realizing where those expectations came from. And the most powerful part of dark psychology isn't that other people can influence you. It's that these hidden emotional memories can influence you before anyone else even gets the chance. Once you understand this, a completely different layer of human behavior starts to reveal itself. The moment you start observing these patterns instead of reacting to them automatically, something subtle begins to change. Not overnight, not through willpower alone, and certainly not because you suddenly become immune to emotions. What changes first is the way you interpret what is happening around you. Most people spend years believing their emotions are direct reflections of reality. If they feel rejected, they assume rejection is happening. If they feel ignored, they assume they are being ignored. If they feel judged, they assume everyone is judging them. But human psychology is rarely that simple. Much of what we experience emotionally is filtered through expectations, memories, assumptions, and unconscious mental shortcuts that operate in the background without our awareness. When you begin recognizing these mechanisms, everyday interactions start looking different. A delayed response no longer automatically means disinterest. A short conversation no longer automatically means someone dislikes you. A moment of awkwardness no longer becomes proof that something is wrong with you. The event itself may remain exactly the same, but the meaning attached to it starts to shift. And that shift can completely alter the emotional weight you carry through life. The goal is not to control every thought or eliminate every emotional reaction. The goal is to notice when your mind is creating a story before all the facts are available. What makes dark psychology so powerful is that many of the forces influencing behavior remain invisible until you know where to look. Once you see them, you start noticing how often emotions, social dynamics, and past experiences quietly shape decisions that feel completely rational. And perhaps the most surprising discovery is realizing that some of the strongest influences in your life were never coming from other people alone. They were coming from patterns that had been running unnoticed inside your own mind the entire time. Maybe the most unsettling part of all this is realizing how much of human behavior happens beneath awareness. Every day, people walk into conversations believing they are responding to reality, when in many cases they are responding to interpretations, memories, expectations, and emotional patterns built over years. A single glance can feel like rejection. A moment of silence can feel like judgment. A delayed message can feel like proof of something that may not even exist. And yet, the mind treats these invisible stories as if they were facts. What makes everyday interactions so fascinating is that two people can experience the exact same moment and walk away with completely different realities. Not because the event changed, but because the meaning behind it changed. Perhaps that is why human behavior remains so difficult to fully understand. The words we remember are often not the words that were spoken. The emotions we carry are often not tied to the moment we think they are. And the reactions that seem spontaneous are sometimes echoes of experiences that happened long ago. So the next time you find yourself replaying a conversation, questioning someone's intentions, or wondering why a simple interaction affected you more than it should have, there may be a deeper story unfolding beneath the surface, one that most people never stop long enough to notice. And sometimes the most powerful psychological forces are not the ones happening around us, but the ones quietly shaping the way we see everything around us. Before you go, if this video helped you see human behavior from a different perspective, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos about psychology, emotional intelligence, relationships, and the hidden patterns that shape everyday life. If you enjoyed this content, leave a like. It really helps the channel reach more people who are looking to better understand themselves and the people around them. I'm also curious about your experience. If you watched all the way to the end, leave the comment, "I see the pattern now." It will let me know you stayed until the very last minute of the video. And if you want to keep exploring the psychology behind human behavior, click the video on your screen now and then check out the playlist linked here. The next video may completely change the way you understand another part of your daily interactions. See you in the next video.